Okay, so welcome to another fireside chat show today. My name is Cynthia. I'm your balance method acupuncturist, and today what I wanted to talk about is dry mouth, xerostomia. And this is an annoying little symptom, and of course the natural thing to do is to just drink a lot of water. And if you've had this for any time now, I'm sure you've tried that, and that's why you're here, is that it hasn't cleared it up, because there's more to the story than simply drinking more water. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to look at what Eastern medicine has to offer for cases of dry mouth. I'm going to explain a channel problem and also an element problem behind this condition, and we're going to look at it from a local standpoint of the salivary glands and treating the salivary glands, and then we're going to look at it from a broader, more systemic viewpoint. Okay, so dry mouth can be caused by quite a number of issues. Typically this is seen when someone's had radiation treatment. This can be a common side effect. Also, different kinds of medications such as antidepressants, blood pressure medications. There's quite a list of medications that have this as a side effect, and a number of health conditions that this can be part of. Now let's look at the salivary glands. Now we have 3 of them, and it's interesting from an acupuncture perspective, these 3 glands, 2 of them anyway, fall along the large intestine channel. So here we have the sublingual gland, the submandibular gland. Now those are both along the large intestine channel, and then we have the parotid gland, and then the parotid duct, which is falling somewhat close to the large intestine channel, but not quite enough for it to be treated this way. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's fairly close actually. Now I know when people hear me say large intestine channel, then it's easy to start thinking, well, what's wrong with my large intestine? And so we want to understand that there are channel problems and then there are organ problems. Sometimes they can be overlapping, but it's not always the case. So for example, we have 6 channels running through our arms, and we have another 6 channels running through each leg. So if someone has a leg pain or an arm pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have problems with all those organs, right? It can just be that, they bump their arm, they injure their arm some way, and now that channel is affected. But in some cases, yes, it very much, a channel problem, it can start out as a channel problem, and if it doesn't get dealt with, that channel problem will eventually affect the organ, because the channel at one end is connecting to the actual organ. And so that's where acupuncture really shines, is in the prevention, the progression of a channel problem into an organ problem. So in the case of dry mouth, where you have the large intestine channel running through 2 of those glands, a person can have dryness in the large intestine channel, and also dryness in the large intestine organ itself. As you may have experienced, the colon can get dry, and this can create a type of constipation that is improved by drinking water or eating foods that have a more moistening quality. For example, like chia seeds that have kind of a gooiness to them that moistens the organ and allows for the smooth passage of stool. Now, of course, dryness is indicating lack of water. And if we look at this from a 5-element perspective, since I'm talking about the large intestine channel, one of the treatments that I like to do for dry mouth is along the large intestine channel here. So here is my index finger. So the large intestine channel is running. This is large intestine 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to do large intestine 1 and large intestine 2 as the treatment. Now, large intestine 2 is the water point on the large intestine channel, so it helps to bring more of the water element to the channel. And large intestine 1 is also quite a dynamic point that can help to clear heat in the channel. Heat, of course, can dry out the channel and create dryness through basically burning things up, too much fire. Okay, so I'm going to just start with these two here. There we go. Okay, so there we are. Large intestine 1, large intestine 2. Now I could also do large intestine 4 because it is also indicated for anything on the head. It's a command point for the whole head and face. And interestingly enough, it's also right on line with points that treat the mouth. So up here we have points that treat the head, here we have points that treat the eyes, and down here we have on the hand points that treat the mouth. And interestingly, right, it's like a little mouth here. And so, but I'm going to just keep it simple for now. I'm just going to do these two. Now the water element, when the water element is weak, we're looking to treat the two organs that belong to the water element. So that's the kidney system and the urinary bladder system. And so with dry mouth, there may be a more systemic issue going on with the kidney and urinary bladder systems. This may be the root of the dry mouth more than the large intestine channel. And so in Eastern medicine, the bladder is responsible for creating or transporting water or moisture to all the right places that need it. So this means moisture in the mouth, which is saliva, which is also good for the health of our teeth, moisture in the eyes so that we can see properly, moisture in the nose, that's nasal fluid so that we can breathe properly, moisture in the throat so that we can speak clearly or so that we can sing, moisture in the vagina so that we can have pleasurable sex, and moisture in the skin for protection and also for beauty, and moisture in the colon so that we can pass bowel movement properly. And so if the bladder system is weak or deficient, any of these areas can start to show some dryness. And certainly with age, people tend to become more dry, and they tend to need strengthening of the bladder system. Now, the kidney system balances the bladder system, and these two work together to keep moisture in all the right places, and also to slow down the aging process so that we age more gracefully and so that we can enjoy the elder years. Okay, so all this to say that by treating the bladder and the kidney systems, we can bring back moisture throughout the body, including the mouth. And interestingly, in the balance method system, the large intestine channel also treats the kidney channel. So this is one of the reasons why I've shown that here, because it's kind of coming at it from two perspectives. So both the local problem of a salivary gland that is maybe not functioning at the level it needs to be functioning, so just to invigorate or enliven the salivary gland to produce more moisture. And then also at the more systemic level of dealing with kidney deficiency, which then helps to balance the bladder channel. I'm going to share a personal story to help you understand dry mouth, just from my own experience. So last fall, I was doing a homeopathic detox program to invigorate my detox pathways. So that's the kidney, the liver, and the lymphatic system. This was the kit that I was doing. It's a homeopathic kit. And after a couple of weeks on this kit, so every day, I started to feel very, very thirsty. And I kept drinking more water, and the thirst didn't really go away. I was just peeing it all out. And I didn't have a bladder infection, but the urine was, let's say, a little bit cloudy. And I was feeling a little more on the tired side, like just feeling kind of run down. And so what I realized was that all of this was coming from being on this detox kit too strongly. I was following the instructions, and what I found was that cutting back, and then I basically had to stop doing it, that seemed to take away the dry mouth and all the needing to drink all this water and peeing so much. And so what I realized after this experience was that it was like I was doing a detox through the kidney and bladder system, and that it was just very strong. And I was doing this so that in preparation for doing a heavy metal detox. So I thought, okay, first and make sure that my detox organs are working fantastic, and then once I've got that clear, then I can start the heavy metal detox, which you need your pathways to be really open and clear so that all of the metals that are going to start to get dislodged can leave the body easily. And so anyway, this protocol was quite strong, and so I had to quit halfway through, and I will start up again and at a much lower dose, and hopefully that doesn't trigger more of the dry mouth. So just sharing this with you in case you have ever done some detox or you try some detox. You may have some symptoms, and it may just be that you need to cut back on the amount or the strength, the intensity of the detox. The body, the kidney may be processing all of that, and it's creating a dry mouth. Okay, and of course, all the medications that people are on, the body has to process all of that, and it all has to go through the liver and the kidney, and I believe that is why medications can also create a dry mouth. And with the radiation treatment, now radiation's interesting. It's basically a fire element type of treatment, right? There's a heat quality about radiation in the 5 element system. And so we want to balance that heat with the water element. So that's, like I said again, that is the kidney and the bladder. So it's really important that if we're going through something like radiation, that we keep our elements balanced, right? So with the fire, we need to balance it with water. Okay, so, and some people find that taking an Epsom salt bath helps to bring in more of the water element. And if that doesn't work, then you can get some acupuncture. So thank you for tuning in today, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next video.